Hi, I'm Alfred Lambremont Webre, and Exopolitics TV has caught up with Jeff Peckman, who's the chief proponent of Initiative 300, which will be on the ballot on November 2nd, 2010, where Denver voters in the city of Denver, Colorado, can do something that, in living memory, no other voters in any city on earth can do and have been able to do, and that is to vote on bringing into existence an extraterrestrial affairs commission of a very rigorous nature. I've examined the actual proposal. So welcome, Jeff, to Exopolitics TV.
Thank you very much, Alfred. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
So give us your kind of up-to-the-minute assessment of where things stand now. I know that you have been in the past been able to get on David Letterman. This thing has now gotten into a prime position on the general election ballot for November of 2nd of 2010. What are some of the hopeful signs that you see?
We have a few good ones. First of all, as of just this morning, there's an online petition supporting Initiative 300 to create an Extraterrestrial Affairs Commission. And this was set up by Larry W. Bryant, who's a columnist for UFO Magazine, a couple years ago. But just in the recent couple of weeks, it's really surged. And just as of this morning, we have gone over 1,000 signatories on this, and they're from all over the world. And so that's very encouraging. 2 nights ago, we were at an event organized by the Denver League of Women Voters, and they are the heart and soul of democracy in America because they took them so long to get the vote, so they try to make sure that everybody's represented and everything's fair. And 2 of the women, the volunteers, came up to me, and we were handing out an 8-page newspaper that we use for our campaign material. Let me just straighten that out a little bit. And they asked me to autograph that because they said it was a collector's item. And it certainly is. I don't think any campaign has ever put together this kind of information anywhere in the world. And it's a good read. The pages of that are available on the campaign website at extracampaign.org, both in online articles and in a PDF form. The online articles contain more information. We had more space to use for that. And at that same event, one of the former city council members, who is currently an elected official as the city auditor, he pulled me aside and said that a friend of his had heard a discussion about this ballot initiative on another radio program. And he expressed, and he didn't say that it was confidential, he just pulled me aside and whispered it to me, though, but he said, I think this is going to pass.
Wow.
And that's encouraging to come from a former city council member.
It is.
Yes, that was very good news. We've got this fabulous poster that was created, and this was a very talented Denver artist. He's a Southwestern artist, and his artwork has appeared in the Denver Art Museum, so I'm going to just pull that in front of me now.
Oh, that's amazing. That's the Denver skyline?
That is the Denver skyline, and he painted every detail of those buildings.
Aha. And that's
star,
and that's a classic sort of mothership type vehicle, correct?
Right. And he just, used some other references for that, but put some originality into it as well. And last night we had a meeting and mentioned this and unveiled this poster. It's actually a painting on a 30-inch by 40-inch canvas. And then he photographed that, and every detail except for the wording is hand-painted, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And at that same meeting last night was a guest speaker, Will Arndt, who created the What the Bleep movie, that phenomenon. And he was standing right next to the poster, and someone wanted to move it back just so that it wouldn't interfere with his presentation. And he said, no, just leave it there. I feel more at home. So we got the blessing of this great man, this visionary. Also, we have what we call the pink UFO music video. So we're using different avenues. We're using, right and left brain approaches to introducing people, the voters, to this information through the art, through the music. Pink UFO music video is also at the campaign website, extracampaign.org, as well as this poster was just put up last night, and somebody can print out their own 8.5 by 11-inch version. And or they could order, for a $10 donation, they can get one mailed to them in a 12 by 18 size. But that will also, I believe, be a collector's item. So there are encouraging signs. And one of the more important things that we feature right on the front page of this newspaper is that our first 2 key endorsements came from people who in the past had been adversaries. One is Veronica Barella. She is the CEO and executive director of NewsEd, which has redeveloped an older area of Denver into an arts district. It's the Santa Fe Drive Arts District. And she's also done a lot of housing projects. She's called, by the Denver Post, she's been called Denver's West Side power broker, is the word they used.
Wow.
And it's her organization that organizes the Cinco de Mayo celebration every year on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, and several 100,000 people attend the celebration.
Several hundred
thousand. It's one of the largest in Colorado and one of the largest Cinco de Mayo celebrations in the country.
So is that going to translate into several 100,000 votes, do you think, or?
It will certainly help because the Latino population, the eligible voters over 18, 30% are Latino. And she's a very respected person, and that's great. Along with that, Jaime Maussan down in Mexico City just last weekend broadcast an interview that we did just after the big soccer game for the evening. And his show was seen by millions of people.
Well,
so
he goes to millions of people.
Right, so that was huge. And then the other key endorsement was from a former Denver police officer named Mike Newell. And he's been called a real-life equalizer by CBS 48 Hours show. And he is an expert in stalking and predatory behavior, nationally known. But he was also called one of the everyday heroes by a local television station. So he's a very substantial person. But in the early 70s, these 2 individuals were on opposite sides of literal battles going on between the growing Chicano movement and the Denver police. And their gun battle.
So this issue has brought people together that were former adversaries.
Right.
That's amazing.
And there had been, gun battles going on for 3 or 4 hours, at least one, between the Chicano movement and the Denver police. And there's no reason to get into the details, but that was a very turbulent time in Denver. And there wasn't a single police car in that district that did not have bullet holes in it. So now they both agree on this issue that we have matured more. We should be able to meet and greet our friends and neighbors from out there, from other planetary systems, other star systems. And that remains to be seen if we are deemed worthy of that. But it does show that this is a harmonizing point for people who had been adversaries. And both of these people have been witnesses to UFOs. Mike Newell had actually had interactions with 5 different extraterrestrial races within a 24-hour period, which happened partly on September 11th of 2001. So these are all very encouraging signs.
I mean, wow. Do you think that in the closing days of the campaign, they would be willing to, do a joint press conference or something to kind of activate people, or who knows?
I don't know. There's a lot of things that have to be done between now and the election. Our focus, as it always has been, is to educate the voters, educate the public, give them truthful disclosure about this extraterrestrial reality when they're paying attention, because we know they're going to vote. And they will actually start voting by mail as early as next Thursday, a week from today, and continue. And well over half, 60 to 70% of the public, of the voters in Denver, will have voted by election day.
By election day. Now, we have just a couple of minutes, and I'd like to get your most insightful sort of comments here and wisdom, because I know that you have done this before. You've had initiatives before. What's your assessment as to what's going to happen here?
I think that it will trigger much more public awareness than there has ever been. Engaging the population, engaging the voters, again, in this kind of environment of an election, when they have to make a personal decision, that will just bring them into the discussion in a way that would not have happened otherwise. And in this country, even though other countries have been revealing, disclosing some of their UFO files, I think in this country, it really is the task of the citizens, of the people, to take the first step and to establish how it can be done in a very truthful and honest and open way at a local level where it's being discussed between friends and family, and not something dictated to everyone from a politician on their soapbox reading from a teleprompter some very scripted message. So this is very real, it's very local, and I would certainly encourage everybody to go to extracampaign.org, read this newspaper, and just see the approach we're taking. I'm not even advocating yes or no, certainly not no, but just to read the newspaper that we've created, take a look at that poster, look at how beautiful it is, and look at the Pink UFO music video and hear the message that's in there about suppressed technologies, and really just look at it. Take a look at it carefully.
Yeah. In terms of the horse race, do you want to give a guess as to what's going to happen?
Well, I would say that we'll garner at least 1/3 of the vote, because of that saying that, you know, every new idea, every discovery goes through 3 stages. First it's ignored, then it's hostily opposed, and then it's accepted as self-evident. So I think anytime you bring out an innovative issue like this, there's already going to be 1/3 of the people already in that camp that have accepted it as self-evident. So we can build from there, and I think even if it doesn't pass, if we've educated the voters, if we've given them information that they would not have had before, and certainly they're not getting any new knowledge from any other kind of campaign, then we will have succeeded. We've already succeeded in just getting the 10,000 signatures that help put it on the ballot. We've created these materials, and those materials will be there well after the election, and the impact of this will outlast the election. It will carry forward a much greater public awareness and hopefully create more of a critical mass, a tipping point for more disclosure to come. I like promoting solutions. I like raising public awareness about issues. But if there's anybody out there that can help, just encourage your friends in Denver to take a close look at this information that we're sharing and to vote yes, and just to see what happens.
Now, one final question, and we're down to the closing seconds here. I understand that cities around the world, people in cities around the world, can do what you just did and bring an initiative in their own city. Can you just give some words of encouragement, and can they contact you for strategic support and advice? And if so, where would they do that?
If they have any interest at all in trying this kind of ballot initiative approach, they need to go to their local elections office and find out if they even have those rights. I would say most countries actually don't, and about 10,000 cities and counties in the United States do, but not everyone does. So this is more something that happens in the United States than anywhere else in the world, and in the US it happens more in the West than anywhere else in the United States. So I have been approached, and I've just encouraged people, go to your local elections office. The rules are so varied that there's no way that it can be coordinated from any one place. Certainly I can post advice here and there, but it really does become something that the local people have to look into, and within their own resources, their own persistence and conviction, they just move forward with it. And they can certainly use the language of my ballot initiative.
Jeff Peckman with the Extra Campaign, Initiative 300, Denver, Colorado, will all be with you on election night, November 2nd, 2010 and beyond. Thank you very much on behalf of ExopoliticsTV.
Thank you very much.